Even though my last score will be written at 34, and Max will wax my tracks. This one for my cadilliac, this one for my jewels, this one for my private stack of musical tools. Some say the man was hexed, oversexed, stretched to the limits of human endurance, thriving off a riff, a spliff, as they say down the Jamaica way. Sorta kinda like a guru who lives to play his spirit song, which he sings only as long as is his life. Tell mama I'm alright, Bird would say. Anytime real trouble would come his way, and in his prime it always seemed to find the Yardbird. Almost every day, in some shape or form, the chase would be on. Death hot on his heels while he played his life into his horn. Suicide right around the corner, attempting to cut even shorter his brief odyssey with a source of creativity. Searching for surcease from the pain, he'd light his fire, he'd grease his skillet, he'd cook, and then he'd book. In the spring of his life, the bird of paradise was on the wing, with but a little way to flutter. Transcending his suffering by playing his suffering after the pain, this hot canary singed his thing. His axe, the sax, cut the wax for anybody who would grease his palm. They say the horse rode him from day to day, and when he tried to dismount to please his countless fans, he died. But the music he made at this time in his prime was so fine made billy goats stomped their feet. This giant with a butterfly in his soul and a horn at his lips played out his life song brilliantly, pouring history into 4s, 8s, 16 bars. Where, oh where had this lover man been? It's like jazz just couldn't get started without him. But he was too out for jazz to embrace his whims, his sins. Don't blame him. The sparrow's last stand began when the bird came on the scene. Packing his benzodrine, codeine, his amphetamines, his quadruple Alexanders, his nutmeg, his tea, his scotch, his whiskey, the horse, his weed. He was a scout crow, a virtuoso, bringing confirmation to a nation of jazz fans that this unique indigenous beat from the feet of slaves could bring swing with visa and passport to the doors of royalty. Okie dokie, Bird would tweak, while his sound from underground would underlay industry. Radio, cartoons, movies, films, clubs, commercials, dance parlors, TV, everywhere you turn around you'd hear Bird sound. You'd hear his flight. Tell mama I'm alright. Just give him some good rhythm and he'd fly out of sight. With peptic ulcer, trouble with heart and liver, attacks and seizures, rumbled clothes, and lots of baggage in tow enclosed in which were gems, he poured his love, his hate, his fears, his tears into that horn. Yet he was banned from the club that bore his name, his fame. An angel, shoot, sent straight from Zeus, cunning, urbane, charming, a royal pain. A classic soul who could joke and laugh with anyone. A man so bold as to play with death and then some. A man with a sound that you would have to hear in person to hear his soul song. Don't get me wrong, his records are cool, but he made his music on the spot. Off the wax, down in the clubs is where you'd hear his sax sing the notes, swing the note, beat between the beat, at 3 times the tempo of the average Joe. I know he had the vote of his fans who heard him play behind Sarah's band on You Are My First Love. They applauded so they stopped the show and Bird had to do his 16 bars all over again. They liked his speed, his pace, the chase was on. Gone, baby Bird, gone! Spread your wings. High in flight, we'll tell mama you're alright. The wonder of his ability to perceive the nuances of the times and on the stand release them while keeping time or cutting that acetate, even though the hootie blues and altered states of consciousness would set his pace his place amongst the living races rung below the best yet. He'd shatter each test that came his way any day. Anybody thought he hadn't paid enough dues, cause people couldn't see beyond the booze, the hootie blues. Yeah, Bird would have to fight to keep his name in the lights. Composing right on the spot, in the middle of the room, in the channel of the tune, he'd get everybody's vote the way he could make his music float a chord above the best. Sweet Lucy jumping the blues at the spook breakfast this wizard would concoct at all hours around the clock while the ideas flowed, glowed, ruby red as he ran out the key, well beyond the melody way played, make the world go way inside. While outside, his sound would bring you to the outer bounds of bitter reality. How deep is the ocean, how high is the sky? When seeking bird's passion, it's imperative you try there, where air has no breath, and water no air, where man cannot rest for fear of death. In a zone alone, but for courage went he, straight to the gateway of a new kingdom, to an idiom he would soon outgrow, and so he'd go from bar to bar without a car. The traveling missionary of music, to date, the fastest Joe to ever blow the way, to go the way of a man possessed of a lost chord, which found its sound around birds' unbound ideas. This is the word we'd hear from Bird. Such was the flight of his brief but bright and intense life. An inspiration, a jazz historian, who sallied forth into the night. We'll tell your mama you're all right. Whisper low, kiss me sweet, and we'll go fly.